Your brain is not done fighting. And if anyone has told you otherwise, they gave you half the picture. Here is what almost never gets said at those appointments. The food on your plate is having a direct conversation with your brain every single day. Not in some vague, general wellness sense, in a precise, biological, measurable sense. And for people over 60, getting that conversation right is not optional. It is the difference between a mind that stays sharp and one that quietly erodes. Today, I am walking you through 5 specific foods that the latest science is calling among the most powerful brain protectors on the planet for people in your age group. We will count down from 5 to 1. And reason 1, the food at the top of this list, has been reframed entirely by recent research. Most people over 60 have never thought of it as a brain food at all. Stay through to the end before you draw any conclusions. I am Dr. Ethan Reed. I have practiced integrative medicine for over 2 decades with a focus on adults over 60. Let us get into it. Here is what is happening inside your body right now if you are over 60 and not eating the foods I am about to describe. Several forces are working against those roads simultaneously. Oxidative stress, damage caused by unstable molecules called free radicals, is eroding your neurons from the outside. The membranes of your brain cells, the structures that allow signals to pass between them, are thinning from lack of raw material. A compound in your blood called homocysteine, an amino acid that rises naturally with age, is accumulating at levels that harm brain tissue. Chronic low-grade inflammation is smoldering through your neural tissue like a fire that never fully flares. And your brain's own internal cleanup system, the process that clears out damaged proteins and cellular debris, is slowing down. None of these is a disease. None of them shows up on a standard checkup. But together, they create the experience you already know. The fog, the reach, the frustration. The cause is not your age. It is specific, identifiable, correctable physiology. And that matters enormously because physiology can be addressed. What follows are the 5 ways this biology is working against you right now and precisely what to do about each one. We are almost at 100,000 subscribers. Subscribe and make sure this information keeps reaching you. Reason 5, the tiny fruit with a decades-long protective effect. Most people have heard blueberries are healthy. Almost nobody understands why, and once you do, you will not look at this small fruit the same way again. Here's what is happening inside your body when oxidative stress goes unchecked. Free radicals circulate through your bloodstream and attach to brain cells, damaging cell walls and disrupting the connections between neurons. Over years, this accumulates. The roads in your brain's city develop potholes, then closures. Blueberries contain a class of pigments called anthocyanins, the compounds responsible for their deep blue-purple color. Anthocyanins neutralize free radicals before they reach and damage neurons. A landmark study published in the Annals of Neurology found that women who consumed blueberries regularly experienced measurably slower cognitive aging, brains functioning as though they were years younger. Not months, years. Margaret came to my practice at 68. She was eating cleanly, grilled chicken, steamed vegetables, plain salads, but she had never thought about antioxidant-dense foods, and her recall had become unreliable in ways that worried her. We added 1 cup of blueberries daily, fresh in summer, frozen the rest of the year, and within 3 months, she described her mornings as less foggy. The biology explains exactly why. Fresh or frozen, blueberries retain their anthocyanin content beautifully. Add a cup to your morning yogurt or oatmeal. 1 cup a day is enough to begin delivering that protective shield. Tonight, set a bag of frozen blueberries in the freezer so it's ready for you tomorrow morning. Pro tip most people miss. Pair your blueberries with a small amount of fat, a spoonful of yogurt, a few walnuts, a drizzle of olive oil. Anthocyanins are fat-soluble, meaning fat dramatically increases how much your body actually absorbs. The cup you eat matters less than the cup your brain receives. Which of these 5 foods have you been eating consistently, and which have you never once thought of as a brain food? Tell me in the comments. I want to know where you are starting from. Reason 4. The structural material your brain cannot make on its own. Fatty fish surprises people because the explanation requires letting go of a common assumption that brain problems are about loss of function. Sometimes they are about loss of raw material. Your brain is approximately 60% fat by dry weight. A large portion consists of a specific compound called DHA, docosahexaenoic acid, an omega-3 fatty acid that forms the membranes of your neurons, the structures that allow brain cells to pass signals back and forth quickly and cleanly. Here's what is happening inside your body as you age without adequate DHA. Those membranes thin. Think of a telephone line with fraying insulation. The signal is there, but it keeps cutting out. You reach for a memory, and it is slightly out of range. That sluggishness, a mind working against resistance, can be directly connected to membrane decline. Your body cannot manufacture DHA on its own. It must come from food. Fatty fish, salmon, sardines, mackerel, herring are among the richest sources on the planet. A major study published in the Journal of Alzheimer's Disease found that higher blood levels of DHA were associated with meaningfully lower rates of memory decline in adults over 60. Ruth, 71, a retired schoolteacher, had always avoided fish. When I explained what DHA does to the membranes of her neurons, she agreed to try canned sardines on whole grain crackers twice a week. Within 90 days, she reported finishing her own sentences with far less effort. Aim for 2 to 3 servings per week. Canned sardines and canned salmon are affordable at any grocery store. No special preparation required. If you follow a plant-based diet, algae-based omega-3 supplements deliver DHA directly because fish get their DHA from eating algae in the first place. Tonight, check your pantry for a can of salmon or sardines. If it is there, plan one meal around it this week. Pro tip, and this one is critical. Cook fish over low to moderate heat. High heat oxidizes the omega-3 fats, the very compounds you are eating it for. A gentle pan sear with a drizzle of extra virgin olive oil is the ideal preparation. Reason 3. The wiring protectors. Most seniors are not eating enough of dark leafy greens. Spinach, kale, Swiss chard, collard greens have a reputation as general health foods. What almost never gets said is the specific, targeted reason they matter for your aging brain. These greens are dense in 3 compounds that work in precise ways for people over 60: folate, vitamin K, and lutein. Here's what is happening inside your body when any of these run low. Folate, a B vitamin, regulates a compound called homocysteine, an amino acid that rises naturally with age and, at elevated levels, directly damages brain tissue. Vitamin K maintains sphingolipids, that is, the fatty material coating the outside of your nerve fibers, functioning like the rubber insulation around an electrical wire. Without that insulation intact, signals between brain cells get crossed or delayed. Lutein concentrates directly in the regions of the brain responsible for learning and memory, where it functions as an antioxidant at the exact source. A peer-reviewed study published in Nutritional Neuroscience found that older adults with higher lutein levels had brain function measurably more similar to younger adults. 1 serving of dark leafy greens daily covers all 3. You do not need salads if salads are not your preference. Stir spinach into scrambled eggs. It wilts to nearly nothing. Add kale to any soup in the final 5 minutes. Steam Swiss chard with a pressed garlic clove and a pour of olive oil. Start tonight. Add a handful of spinach to whatever you are making for dinner. Pro tip most people miss: always dress your greens with a fat. Olive oil, avocado, a few walnuts. Vitamins K and lutein are fat soluble. A dry salad delivers a fraction of what a dressed one does. This kind of information is here every week for you. Subscribe and keep it coming. Reason 2. The nut that cools the fire your brain has been fighting for years. Stay with me through this one. It sets the stage directly for the reason that changes everything. Walnuts are not simply a healthy snack. Among all nuts, walnuts carry a nutritional profile that makes them uniquely relevant for the aging brain. And the most important reason involves something most people have never heard named: neuroinflammation. That is, chronic, low-grade inflammation in the brain itself. Here's what is happening inside your body right now. Unlike the acute inflammation of an injury, neuroinflammation is a slow, persistent smoldering, a fire always burning somewhere in your house that never fully flares but quietly damages the walls and foundation over years. It is now being studied as one of the central drivers of age-related memory loss. Walnuts contain a combination of plant-based omega-3 fatty acids, high-concentration antioxidants, and polyphenol compounds that collectively dampen neuroinflammation through a direct biological pathway. A major study in the Journal of Nutrition, Health, and Aging found that regular walnut consumption was associated with improved working memory and cognitive flexibility in older adults. And there is a second mechanism. Your gut and brain are in constant communication, a system researchers call the gut-brain axis. Walnuts are a prebiotic food, meaning they feed the beneficial bacteria in your gut. When those bacteria thrive, they produce compounds that travel to the brain and support focus and memory. You are feeding two systems at once. 1 ounce per day, roughly 14 walnut halves. Eat them as a snack, crush them over oatmeal, stir them into yogurt. Tonight, measure out 1 ounce and leave them in a visible spot on your kitchen counter so they become impossible to skip. Pro tip, and this one is critical: store walnuts in the refrigerator or freezer. The omega-3 fats in walnuts oxidize quickly at room temperature. Oxidized fats lose their anti-inflammatory properties entirely. A sealed bag in the cold keeps them potent for months. Reason 1. The ancient oil that activates your brain's own cleaning system. Extra virgin olive oil. I already hear some of you thinking, that is the big reveal? Stay with me, because the reason this is reason 1 has nothing to do with what you already know about it. The research behind this specific mechanism is extraordinary and has been almost entirely absent from mainstream health conversations. Here is what is happening inside your body as you age. Your brain accumulates damaged proteins and cellular debris, biological trash that builds up naturally over decades. When you are younger, your brain runs a built-in cleaning system called autophagy. That word means self-eating in Greek, and it identifies and clears that debris continuously. Think of it as your brain taking out its own garbage on a regular schedule. After 60, that cleaning system slows. The garbage piles up. Damaged proteins accumulate inside neurons, and that accumulation is now being studied not as a symptom of aging, but as a driver of it. Extra virgin olive oil contains a compound called oleocanthal. Oleocanthal has been shown in research to activate and enhance the brain's autophagy process. It signals the cleanup crew to get back to work, stimulates the clearance of accumulated debris, and reduces the burden on your neurons. A landmark study published in Annals of Clinical and Translational Neurology found that oleocanthal-rich olive oil significantly enhanced the brain's clearance of amyloid, one of the most studied forms of neural debris, through exactly this mechanism. Oleocanthal also has potent anti-inflammatory properties, blocking the same inflammatory pathways as certain pharmaceutical compounds, but gently, naturally, as part of a whole food. Populations in Mediterranean countries where extra virgin olive oil is consumed daily have shown consistently lower rates of age-related cognitive decline. Researchers now identify oleocanthal as likely the most important component driving that protection. One critical detail: it must be extra virgin olive oil. Not regular, not light, not a blend. Extra virgin means cold pressed, without heat or chemicals, preserving all of its oleocanthal content. Regular olive oil is refined in ways that destroy most of those compounds. Look for the words extra virgin on the label and choose a dark glass bottle because light degrades the oil's potency over time. 2 tablespoons per day. Drizzle it over salad. Use it as your cooking fat for eggs. Tonight, put the bottle on your counter so it is the first thing you reach for tomorrow morning. Which of the 5 foods we covered do you think has been the biggest gap in your diet? And which one are you most likely to add first? Tell me in the comments. I read every one of them, and your answers shape what I cover next. Here is your daily brain protective protocol, drawn from everything we covered today. Every morning, 1 cup of blueberries, fresh or frozen, with a small amount of fat. A spoonful of plain yogurt, a few walnuts, or a drizzle of olive oil. Fat significantly increases anthocyanin absorption. With your main meal, 2 tablespoons of extra virgin olive oil as your cooking fat or finishing drizzle. This is the most reliable path to consistent daily oleocanthal intake. 2 to 3 times per week as your main protein. 1 serving of fatty fish, salmon, sardines, mackerel, or herring. Canned options are affordable at any grocery store. Cook at medium heat with olive oil to protect the omega-3 fats. Daily, with any meal, 1 serving of dark leafy greens, spinach, kale, Swiss chard, or collard greens, dressed with olive oil or another fat to maximize vitamin K and lutein absorption. Once per day, 1 ounce of walnuts, 14 halves, as a snack or added to a meal. Keep them refrigerated to preserve their anti-inflammatory properties. The single reason most home protocols fail is preparation friction. Every food on this list is available at any grocery store, requires no specialized equipment, and costs a fraction of any brain health supplement. The barrier is habit, not effort. This protocol costs less per week than a single bottle of supplements, and unlike that, it is aimed at the actual source of the problem. Give it 90 days. Track your sharpness monthly. Ease of recall, clarity in the morning, ability to hold a train of thought. The changes happen in the brain over weeks, not hours. Document them. Here is the full picture and why every piece of it matters. Blueberries neutralize the oxidative damage that erodes your neural pathways day by day. Fatty fish provides the DHA your brain needs to rebuild the membranes that allow fast, clear communication between neurons. Leafy greens regulate homocysteine, protect the insulation around your nerve fibers, and deliver antioxidants directly to the regions of your brain responsible for memory. Walnuts cool the neuroinflammation that has been quietly working against your focus and recall, and feed the gut-brain connection at the same time. Extra virgin olive oil activates your brain's own cleanup system, clearing the debris that accumulates over decades while reducing inflammation through a separate, powerful pathway. Each of these alone contributes. Together, they address the full picture of why the aging brain loses ground and give it the specific tools to hold its own. This is not inevitable. This is not simply aging. This is physiology, and physiology can be addressed. Your brain has been working for you for 60, 70, 80 years without stopping. Every memory you carry, every conversation you have held, every room you walked into with a purpose, it handled all of it. It has not failed you. It has been running on insufficient fuel. The cleanup crew is still there. The membranes can still be rebuilt. The inflammation can be brought down. The roads can be maintained. The city is not gone. It needs the right materials delivered to it. Tonight, before you go to bed, do one thing. Put a bottle of extra virgin olive oil on the counter and a bag of frozen blueberries in the freezer. 2 actions, 2 minutes. That is how it starts. The factory has not been demolished. The supply chain just needs to start running again. Start tonight. Not next week, tonight. We are almost at 100,000 subscribers, and every person who joins this community is helping build something that genuinely serves people. If this video was worth your time, that subscription is worth 3 seconds of yours. If you know someone who has been spending money on supplements that cannot work because they have never been told what is actually driving their cognitive decline, hit like. It costs you nothing. It may reach exactly the person who needs this most. Tell me in the comments, which of these 5 foods do you think has been the biggest gap in your diet? I read every comment, and your answer shapes what I cover next. Share this with a partner, a parent, a sibling, a friend. You may never know whose life you change by doing that. I am Dr. Ethan Reed. I will see you in the next video.